Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. As always, guys, give me a thumbs up. Let me know the sound is loud and clear. All right, guys, what a great night of fights. Volkanovski. What can I say? Volkanovski, guys. Volkanovski did it again. Can I say he looked better than ever? That was probably one of his best performances. He had two back-to-back losses, two knockouts, suffered two KOs, two bad KOs. Comes back looking better than ever. I can't say Lopez fought great. He didn't fight great. He's a great fighter, and I'm sure he's going to be back, and I'm sure he's going to be in more title fights. I'm very confident that Lopez will be in many more title fights in his career. However, it did seem like he just couldn't get going. He had one brilliant moment in round two where he knocked down Volkanovski. He hurt Volkanovski with a good punch, dropped Volkanovski. Even though earlier in that round, Lopez was badly hurt. I'm not going to do a whole play-by-play, but that was the one shining moment he had. And maybe he won, what was it, round 3 or 4? I can't remember. Maybe one round, maybe. But it could have been a 5-round shutout for Volkanovski, or at best 4-1 for Volk. It was a complete domination from Volkanovski. What an incredible performance. He looked better than ever. After it seemed so dim, so dark, it looked like he was out. Everybody was doubting him, including myself, thinking he's coming back too early. I know it's been a year, but he got his bell rung twice in a row, and both times were really, really bad. This young kid's so explosive. He's so dangerous. He's so raw. He's so, he has so many miles. He has so many more miles to go than Volk, it seems. But no. Volk proved many of us all wrong. And he fought beautifully. He was technical. He was precise. He finished strong. It was a brilliant performance. I would call it a shutout, guys. I would definitely call it a shutout. Now, there were other great fights. I want to talk about those great fights as well. But I want us to focus on this fight. First, I'm taking comments and questions. I'm not doing a play-by-play of every moment in the fight because it was a one-sided ordeal. Yes, Lopez had that great moment in round 2 where it seemed like he can do it. It was short-lived, and I still gave that round to Volk because Volk had hurt him earlier in the round, and I thought Volk had landed the better shots in that round. Even it's rare a guy gets knocked down and you still want to give it to him. So if you were going to be super generous, it could be 3-2 Volk. I don't see it that way. I'd see it 4-1 at best, and I don't argue with anybody who tells me they think Volk won all 5. That's a really good case to be made that Volk even won all 5. Okay, guys, give me your comments and questions on this. Guys, don't forget to use promo code GET55 off. Get 55% off anything on jujiclub.com. I just released Professional Shadowboxing. Check it out. And I also just released Guillotine Escapes. Check it out. Make sure you don't get guillotined. Coach, you mentioned Volk was feinting a lot. Do you think there's a need for instructionals in ways of the feint? That's from Student of Life. In shadowboxing, I talk a lot about how to feint, how to drill your feinting. Okay, so for sure we can go more in depth, but there's a lot of it in that video. So you have a man guides to throwing a punch. That's a really good video for somebody starting out. They want to build a boxing routine. I think it's very good for advanced fighters too. I go over a lot of important stuff in that. And then professional shadowboxing is another layer above. It's like it's more advanced. And there I show a lot of footwork stuff, a lot of how to block, how to, tactics, how to feint also, how to use your footwork, etc. So there's a lot in there. Of course, there's a lot more to come, but make sure to check out those 2 videos. Both of them are really, really important. So Volk was doing a great job. If you watch the fight, you look right away when the bell starts. Volk immediately starts with the feints. He's faking. And Lopez doesn't know when to go. Lopez is a very aggressive fighter typically. If you throw a punch at him, he flurries back. But he didn't know when to flurry. Lopez kept triggering him, and then he's touching his Adam's apple. Lopez keeps couldn't stop touching his Adam's apple. He talked about it before the fight. He said it's a nervous tick that he has. He has a nervous tick. I think once upon a time or something, he said he choked or something. So he has this nervous tick, and he was nervous from round 1. Nervous, kept touching his Adam's apple. Like he was doing it a lot in the fight. That tells me that Volk had him on pins and needles the whole time. He was biting on those fakes. He didn't know when to go, because he knows that if he picks wrong, Volk can punish him. Ultimately, I think Lopez was too careful and he was too one-dimensional in the fight. He was just focused on boxing. He didn't kick, he didn't knee, he didn't wrestle, he didn't elbow, he didn't tie up, he didn't do anything but punch boxing. And he didn't throw much either. So I really felt he could have done a lot better. I really think he's going to be going back to the drawing board, kicking himself when he watches the fight, because he was raising his hand at the end of the fight like he thought he won. He wasn't sure. He was like, yeah, I won this. And then when they were announcing, he's like, I think I got it. And it's like, dude, there's no way you won this fight. Did he go back to watch the tape and like ask himself, what was I doing? I was way behind. Why didn't realize? Maybe he didn't realize it. Maybe he thought he was doing okay in the rounds. It could be that he was overwhelmed by the moment. Diego Lopez got the 4th round, coach. That's from Jay Zargo. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. I did a watch party live. For those of you who didn't see the fight, you want to hear with the play-by-play, go check it out. I give you the play-by-play if you guys didn't buy it. I purchased it, and I was thoroughly entertained. However, if you didn't purchase it and you just want to hear what was happening, you can play that video. Coach, thoughts on who should Volk fight next? I think Movsar. That's from Johnny. Johnny, I would love to see that fight. Me and you, we'd love to see that fight, but I don't think UFC wants to do that fight. I think they have a thing against Movsar a little bit, his fighting style. They want somebody more dynamic. They're going to look for another contender maybe. It's possible he gets the fight. I just don't think he will. And I would love to see that fight. I think they should give him that fight. I think it's a great fight. I would tune in. However, if Movsar were to win, I think the UFC would be tearing its hair out just a little bit. Because the entertainment value, the shock value, it's going to be harder to sell tickets for that style of fighting for 5 rounds. Like 3 rounds is cool. Movsar is cool. I would love, guys, I would personally like to watch Movsar for 5 rounds. What I'm saying is the average person doesn't like to see too much wrestling. So I think the UFC is not going to rush to give Movsar a fight unless they have no other choice. And there are good choices, especially after that night. We have Jean, we have Yair. I mean, those 2 names alone, I think, are going to get a shot before Movsar. When are you getting the Chris Langen interview? That's on Port. I'm not really gunning for that right now. I'm really too busy for that. Maybe in the future, that would be cool, Mr. Port. But right now, it's just something not in my agenda. I'm not even looking for it because I wouldn't even know what to schedule the man. And I would want to do my research. I want to do a deep dive. His material is really difficult to get through. And I believe me, I have a lot of questions. Like there's a lot of things I would love for him to clarify. But his vocabulary is so dense, man. I find myself looking up words. It's incredible. Money jab. Yes, the money jab. It was working. His jab. Volkanovski was jabbing beautifully. It was, I would think, the best jabbing night he ever had. He picked and poked beautifully. It was incredible. It was really incredible. Hey coach, I missed these podcasts. That's from Le Double, but I do them all the time now. So you're back on, my friend. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Paddy Pimblett and Chandler, but let's just finish this off. I'm not going to harp on this fight for too long. I just want to do a few because it was a great fight. Even though it was one-sided, it was still a legendary moment. Volkanovski coming back as champion, winning the title again for the 2nd time, and now he's the crown jewel of the featherweight division, arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. I know there's going to be a lot of debate about this, but the guy's really dominated the division quite incredibly. Okay, guys, I'm going to open it up to anything because I think it was too one-sided for us to go too in detail with this fight. That's why I'm not going to do a whole play-by-play. But at the end of the day, wow, what a performance, man. The guy's back. He's back on top. He's champion again. Congratulations to Volkanovski. I'm thoroughly impressed. Hats off. Okay, guys, what else do we got here? The Paddy Pimblett fight. What can I say? That was super entertaining. It was one-sided. After round 1, it was Paddy Pimblett all the way. I think most people are going to give Chandler round 1. He was kind of dominant, gut wrench, wrist ride, one-on-one grips. He was doing good. However, I thought it was a losing recipe when I was watching it live. I was telling everybody I don't think this is a good recipe for him. It's not a path for victory. It's a 5-round fight. This is not a path for victory for Chandler. He's going to get out grappled. If they exchange long enough, Paddy subs him. Paddy's really good on the ground. Paddy Pimblett is a jiu-jitsu machine, a submission machine. Don't tangle with the man. It was a crazy suicide mission. It made no sense, tactically speaking. Does Chandler even have any submissions? Let me look it up. Okay, I don't want to harp on the guy, but Michael Chandler. Guys, Michael Chandler is a really serious challenge. It was a huge challenge for Pimblett. This is a massive win for Pimblett. Okay, it's a massive win. Okay, let's see here. Chandler, does he have any submissions? Let's look it up real quick here. 7 wins by submission. Look at that. Okay, let's see. When was his last submission? Front kick on Tony Ferguson. Dan Hooker, left hook. That's why we call him Iron Mike. He's like kind of like an Iron Mike Tyson. Like he hits really, really hard. Okay, Michael Chandler. If he connects on your chin, it's gonna be lights out. Okay. Left cross, ground and pound against Benson Henderson. That was 2020. Okay, so again, more striking, more punching, more impact from Chandler. That's good stuff. Right cross against Sydney Outlaw. Okay, lost to Pitbull. Brent Primus decision. Brandis Gertz. Arm triangle, round 1. Okay, let's see Brandis Gertz. This guy's 16-10. Brandis Gertz. Brandis Gertz has been, I'm looking at this topology here. He's been submitted 2 times in his career. Okay, so not an easy guy to sub. So Chandler does have some submission. Not an easy guy to sub. Okay, then what else? Ankle injury. Let's see. His sub. So his last sub was arm triangle. That was in 2018. And the sub previous to that was a rear naked choke in 2015. Okay, so look, Chandler's got his strengths. Submissions is not one of them. He's more of a ground and pound. He's more of a puncher. He's more of a slugger. Nothing wrong with that. You could win big fights like that. However, tangling with Paddy Pimblett, who's a really well-developed jiu-jitsu practitioner, a guy who knows his stuff, I thought it was a winning, a very bad recipe for Chandler. Okay, what else we got here? What else happened in the fight? Paddy started picking it up. Round 2 immediately. Knee to the face, kicks to the leg. He had kicks in the leg in round 1. Round 2 was getting worse. And then Paddy just basically ran a beautiful single, picked him up. Chandler kind of slipped out a little bit, and then he kind of wrestled him to the waist. He kind of jumped in on the waist, picked him up, put him down. And you could tell that Paddy was just another level on the ground. Just another level. Okay, guys, what else do we got here? Salam, coach. You said Diego Lopez. That's from Hasbi. You're right, Hasbi. I picked wrong. Look, Hasbi, find me the best picker. Who is the best picker in the business? That's what I want to know. Excuse me. Burping here. Who is the best picker in the business? There's nobody. It's really tough to pick fights. Okay, so it's all speculation. Anybody can win a fight. Look, Volk got knocked down in round 2. Imagine he got up and he got caught with another knee. Just, let's say Lopez put it together. It could have been over. Fights are a difficult thing to predict. Very, very difficult thing. Assalamu alaikum, coach. That's from the man from Nepal. Salam alaikum, Mr. Man from Nepal. I love you, coach. For us, been listening to you since 2015. Calvin, 10 years, my friend. Wow. You should get like a t-shirt or something. I should get you a t-shirt, man. That's cool. Coach, before we start, I want to ask where we can meet you at UFC 315 for picks. That's from Johnny. Johnny, I probably won't be. I'm going to be so busy that week. I can't schedule it with fans, man. I'll see you guys at the press conference. I'll see you guys at the fights. I'll see you guys in and out of the hotel. I'm going to be going in and out of the hotel. That's where I'm going to be, guys. It's going to be a busy week for me. What's your thoughts on John Silva and Bryce submission? That's from Calvin. Calvin, such a great question. Guys, we're moving on to all the fights now, okay? Look, Jean looked brilliant. Okay, but there was one point where he's like looking away from Bryce and he's fighting Bryce with his Bryce on the corner of his eye. I think that stuff is crazy. Like if that guy, like I get it, he's entertaining the crowd, but if I was training that guy, I would really get upset. I don't care how he wins. I don't care if he wins and like that's stuff you don't want to do. Why? Because you could slip on a banana peel and get knocked out, man. This is serious business. Like his antics, guys. The guy's a genius in one way, but he's crazy in another. I don't know if he's on the spectrum. I don't know if there's something going on with him, but the guy's reaction time is incredible. His power is incredible. His submission defense, his submission attacks, his wrestling, everything looks amazing. The guy's very, very, very well-rounded. He's an incredible fighter. However, if it ever is the case that he's looking away, you guys all remember Anderson Silva when he fought Chris Weidman. He's like doing the dancing with the stars. He's like, hey, man, I'm in the Matrix and you're too slow to hit me. Guess what? No, he's not too slow to hit you. And he hit you on the button and he knocked you out. It's just crazy stuff. I've seen more than one fighter do that. There's a viral video online of some guy, like, he's winning this fight. Then he starts like doing like this breakdancing in the middle of the fight. The guy just throws a head kick and bam, knocks him out cold, like a humiliation. This guy was winning the fight by a mile, picking the guy apart. He's acting like he's in the Matrix. He can't be touched. And then he starts going into like a breakdancing, and the guy throws a combo. Boop. Another fight, one of the most ridiculous fights I've ever seen. It's this guy starts the fight so nonchalant. He's like on sleeping pills, you know, like when you're waiting for your wife to pick her clothes, like you take her shopping and you're sitting there and you're waiting and she's trying on outfit after outfit and she's asking you your opinion and you're like, just want to kill yourself because you've been here for 3-4 hours shopping, waiting for her. Like that kind of, which personally I retired from this. I will never do this again. Like my wife knows better now. But, you know, earlier in our marriage, you know, she would take me shop, take me somewhere, come to the store with me and make me wait for hours. I swear to you, the guy comes out like that. He comes out like he's loosening up. The guy, I'm telling you, throws like a 3-piece combo. Pop, 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 lays him out. The fight didn't even start. The referee said start, yes. That guy thought, hey, we're going to look at each other. We're going to posture. And the guy's walking around like, man, this fight has started, by the way. The referee said go. The other guy's like ramped up. He's like, and this guy's like, he's walking. It was one of the most ridiculous fights I've ever seen in my life. I find it's crazy. I think it's insane when fighters do stuff like that. Now, of course, John Silva won. It worked out in his way. But believe me, if Bryce would have swung when he was just 1 second, lost his focus 1 second, Bryce can knock him out. You know, those are 4-ounce gloves. You don't have to be the hardest hitter in the world to knock somebody out. Well, okay, what did I think about his submission? I thought he was great. Look, he did a ninja choke, which is crazy because I just released Guillotine Escapes, okay? And I show in Guillotine Escapes, if somebody has you in a guillotine and you're in a single leg, you can easily take the person down. Somebody wrote me, he's like, hey, no, that's what Bryce Mitchell tried to do and he got choked. No. That wasn't guillotine. That was a ninja choke, or some people we call it the Allen key because Arnold Allen did it once in UFC against Mads Burnell. He choked him out and he beat him. The Allen key or the sleeper or the ninja choke, or if some people call it the sleeper, it's a different choke. If somebody has you in that, you have to spin now. You have to spin to your back. And so I also cover it in Guillotine Escapes, Ultimate Guillotine Escapes. But you have to differentiate. Does the guy have me in a guillotine, arm in? Does he have a high elbow on me? Or does he have a ninja choke? Now, with experience, you quickly identify it. It's not really difficult. Of course, it comes with experience. It comes with drilling. But Bryce was in a ninja choke. Running the pipe and dumping him on his hip was a bad idea. What he should have done is let go of the leg, spin, and drop to his back, because there's no way out of the ninja choke. Unless you feel he doesn't have it on, then you can kind of like do an arm drag. You can arm drag your way out if it's not under your neck. But if it's under your neck, which it was, you got to stop, spin to your neck. Spin to your neck. You got to stop and spin to your back and get the hell out of there. Because if you don't spin, you're cooked. Bryce dumped. He dumped the leg. He didn't spin. He got put out. Now, he fought hard. He did his best. I thought Bryce, look, he looked tired. But he was fighting his heart out. Say what you want to say about the guy. Say what you want to say. The guy did his best. He fought a guy who's incredibly well-trained and incredibly gifted. I got to tell you something. Jean Silva is one of my favorite fighters to watch, and he is incredibly gifted, particularly in his eyes. He can see all the shots coming. Like, Bryce landed a few nice kicks, but I think John was like really aware of them, just not interested too much about blocking them. Why? Because he'd have to change his stance. And I don't think John wanted to change his stance, which is kind of crazy. Because I would have liked to see him check those kicks. But I don't think he wanted to change his stance. He wanted to stay in his stance and start picking Bryce apart with counter punches. And, you know, he won. He won round one. He landed a nice wheel kick. Round one was competitive. A lot of people are going to be like, hey, Bryce, didn't belong. No, he fought well in round one. Rewatch it again. He fought well. He did well in round one. It was competitive. Round two was starting the beginning of the end. You could see Bryce was labored, tired. He was getting killed, And John's just levels above, man. That's the truth. The guy's very talented and very well trained. All right, guys, I do have super chats. I'm doing non-super chats and super chats as always. Here's my boy Shiz. You change your schedule and appreciate your time. How happy are the fans for Alexander? Question mark. 2 KO losses in a row. Lots of casual fans thought he wouldn't be champ, but I refuse to believe in it. In UFC, 4 losses in a row isn't the worst. Who has 4 losses in a row? But I refuse to believe it. In UFC, 4 losses in a row. I think you mean 2 losses in a row. Or you mean 3 losses. That would have been a 3rd loss in a row. Look, it's happened to greats. You know, there's greats that have gone 3 losses in a row. Look at Tony Ferguson. I think Tony Ferguson did 7. The guy was interim champion. He was one of the greats. Let's look at Tony Ferguson's record. Okay, you could say the same thing about BJ Penn. Of course, you know, it's not everybody's going to go out like that, but it can happen. Ferguson was on one of the best win streaks I've ever seen in UFC. Hold on, let me see here, okay? Let me remind you guys, okay? Yes, I know he ended up with a lot of losses, but still, he had a major amount of wins, okay? So, look, let's see here, okay? This is the Ultimate Fighter, okay? I'm not going to count the Ultimate Fighter, even though hold on a second. No, I should count those fights. Hold on. Let's see, Ultimate Fighter, 1, 2, 3. 3 wins on the Ultimate Fighter. Then he wins the final against Ramzi Najam. That's 4. Then he starts his streak, okay? That's 4 wins already. I count from 4, okay? Now I'm going to start the official UFC fights. Actually, Ramzi Najam was the first official UFC fight, okay? So I'm going to give him, it's 3 fights on the exhibitions, which he finished everybody. So, I mean, you got to give him those fights. Then the Najam fight is an official UFC fight, okay? So 1, 2, 3. He loses to Michael Jackson. I'm going to count that as a loss, okay? So 3 fights in a row. If you add the 3 on the show, that's 6 fights in a row in UFC. He loses one to Michael Johnson. Now let's count his wins after his first loss in UFC to Michael Johnson, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins in a row in UFC, guys. 12 wins in a row. There's not many guys who have 12 wins in a row. Okay, after that, okay, he had a major slide. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that, 4? Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 8 losses in a row. Man, damn. He had 8 losses in a row in UFC after. But still, guys, 12 wins in a row is spectacular. That's stellar, man. It's incredible. What an incredible run. Coach, you ever ride a motorcycle? That's some student of life. I'm a big lover of riding ATVs and dirt bikes. Okay, I love ATVs mostly. I have a Raptor 700. Before I had kids, I used to go on almost every weekend off-roading with the ATV. I used to bring my wife. She used to ride also. So we had ATVs. We'd go out with friends, you know, and find trails. We have very nice trails here in Quebec. And when I had kids, I didn't have time for it no more. I sold a bunch of my ATVs, but I kept my Raptor 700, which I love. Okay, it's a 2-wheel. It's a 4x4, but it's a ATV, but 2 wheels. You know, so 2 back wheels, so you can drift and all that. So it's a fun ride. It's a crazy bike. It's 700 cc's. It's an explosion. It's incredible how powerful it is. How much torque. It's a torque monster. But I haven't ridden it in years. Once in a while, you know, in the summer, I start it up just to check if the engines are still working, and I ride around the neighborhood. I give the kids a ride in the neighborhood. My kids, when they were young, they used to love it when I used to turn it on and drive them around, you know, the street in the neighborhood. But I haven't taken them riding in the woods at all. But, you know, when you get kids, you know, your weekends are busy. You can't just pick up and leave and go out in the middle of the woods like I used to. When are we getting the Chris? Oh, no, I did that one. Okay. Thoughts on who? Did that one. Okay. He touches it because of the scar from being stuck in a metal thing. Okay, so yeah, Lopez keeps touching it. I think he had an injury of some sort. Or that's from Johnny. Johnny, thank you. Yeah, I remember something, like choking or an injury of some sort. So he's always touching that Adam's apple. All right, guys, what other fights were crazy that night? I didn't see all of them, but what else did I see? What other fights did I see? Can't remember now. Port Films, man. Easy, man. I didn't say I wouldn't do it. Just give me some time. You know, UFC's coming to Montreal in May, so give me some time here. Well, easy. It's just not on my radar right now. Maybe in the future, okay? So I haven't I haven't said no. It's just I need some time, my friend. Please. Coach, did you see the Douglas Murray debate on Joe Rogan? That's some shit one. Yes. I've been listening. Everybody's talking to me about this interview. The interview. Man, it was incredibly bad. Propaganda Doug Murray is the worst speaker on the subject ever. Propaganda Doug Murray. That's all he is. He's just propaganda. He's not trying to make logical sense. Now, the first thing that annoyed the whole world, it seems, is he was like, you're not an expert. You're a comedian. You're not an expert. You shouldn't talk about things you're not an expert. And it's like, Joe Rogan's been doing that for years. He has his friends on and they talk about day-to-day things. It's in the news. It's documented. They're not imbeciles. They're intelligent people. They can have rational discussions about day-to-day events. He's like, you're not an expert. You're not an expert. I was like, wow, let me go see what Douglas Murray's education is, because I don't follow this guy. Okay, I've seen him here and there, but I don't follow this guy. I look it up. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but his major is English literature. He has a degree in English literature, not history, not politics, English literature. And let me just tell you, Propaganda Doug Murray fans out there, all the experts who do, because he was saying, you're not an expert and you've never been there. So what? That's genetic fallacy, by the way. I have a degree in logic, okay? I can tell you, it's called a genetic fallacy. Because somebody said it, because it's coming from this person, it can't be right. That's called genetic fallacy. You can be a comedian and be right about a topic. It's not logically inconsistent. No, you can be wrong, but you could also be right. We want to discuss. Look, if Propaganda Doug Murray is so correct and Dave Smith is such an imbecile, it should be an easy dialogue. It should be very easy to point out the counterfactuals. It should be very easy to tell them, look, it's a matter of fact that you're wrong. So and so has reported this and that. Do it. Beat the guy. Talk. Bring out his arguments, and dismantle them for all of us to see. But all he could do for the first hour and a half, it was mind-bogglingly painful, was just cry and whine about that. Hey, you don't have experts on the show. You're not having experts. Did you come here to debate about the Middle East, or did you come here to scrutinize our credentials? That's the question. Like, didn't they agree to have a podcast together? And then you get there, all you want to do is scrutinize the man's credentials. Debate the man. You went there to have a discussion with the man, or a debate. I'm not sure what it was. But you could tell that Joe Rogan was getting pissed. And my favorite part of the whole podcast is when Joe was like, hey, man, you got to stop interrupting. You really got to stop. I felt like Joe was going to tell him, shut the up. But I felt, Joe is very polite. He's very generous to his guests. He's very, very sweet to his guests. I've been on the show myself twice. He's very, very courteous. Joe is a very courteous and hospitable person. So he's not going to do that. But you could see Joe getting angry. Joe's like, you got to stop interrupting. You got to stop. I've never seen Joe do that before. Personally, I've watched many of his episodes. I've never seen him do that before. Like, interject and tell the guy, hey, man, you got to stop. And thank God he did, because it was unbearably annoying. Now, Douglas Murray made some very bad arguments. Besides that, okay, one, oh, you're a comedian, you can't be right. That's genetic fallacy. That's the most retarded thing I ever heard. Just engage with the arguments. Just engage with arguments. Who cares if he's a comedian? Maybe he's well researched. These things are documented. It's not a mystery what's happening in the Middle East. Things are documented. They're in the newspaper. They're in print. We can research them. They're online. People are reporting from there as best they can, because there are restrictions, as best they can, and people from that area are posting information. So we're here to dialogue and talk about the history, what's going on. What is this stuff we see on our phones every day, the social media? It's Palestine, Israel. Can't we talk about it? Or do we have to go do 20 years of school so we could? And the craziest thing is that he's not a historian. Douglas Propaganda Doug Murray is not a historian. He's not in politics. His major is English literature. Where is he going with this? Like, you're not a historian, so why are you talking about it? Anyways, just pure nonsense. So let's move on. He said something incredibly ignorant. Okay, he said, look, this is straw man, like maximum straw man. He's like, Hamas wants to kill all Jews. It says it in their charter. That's factually inaccurate. I looked it up. I've read their charter before. In the 2017 charter, they say explicitly, we are not against Jewish people. So what he says, what he's blaming them for, they're saying the opposite. They're saying we're not anti-Jewish. We want to dismantle your government. The government, not the people, not the Jewish religion. Don't conflate us with being anti-Jewish. They specifically say that's a European invention. That's a European. We're not anti-Jewish because Muslims are not anti-Jewish. We want to dismantle your government because you built your government on our land, on our government. You built on us. We used to live here. We used to govern. And then you came in as a foreigner and you built on us. You put a government on top of ours. We're going to dismantle that. They specifically say they're not anti-Jewish. And he's saying their mission is to kill every Jew. No, that's not what they're saying. That's literally the opposite of what they're saying. Now, there's a reference to eschatology, meaning at the end of the world, there's going to be a battle between Muslims, Jews, and all these other groups. And yes, Muslims and Jews, but that's eschatological. What does that mean? That means end of the world. It's in the Jewish text, it's in the Christian text, it's in the Muslim text, okay? Because at the end of the world, we're going to find out who's right. The Jews say Jesus is not the Messiah. The Christians say Jesus is God. The Muslims say Jesus is the Messiah, but he's not God. We have a different of opinion. Guess what? At the end of the world, it's going to be a giant, it's going to be Armageddon, and yes, there's going to be a fight. But that's eschatology. That's eschatology. We're not talking about that now. The here and now, we're supposed to live in peace. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. That's for later when we find out who's right and wrong. It's a whole other topic. It's not talking about killing people. It's not at all whatsoever. It's talking about dismantling a government. So that's one. He's completely wrong there. Okay, unless somebody can bring out the charter and send me the coordinates, and I'll go look it up and I'll read it now if I'm wrong. Really, I'd be happy to do it anytime. It doesn't even have to be this podcast. Somebody post that I'm wrong. Show me the line where it says, hey, we want to kill a certain group. Why? Because I've read it myself. It says the complete opposite. It says we're not after this group because they're so-and-so. We want to dismantle this government because they're oppressing us. That's it. Okay. Then he said something else. What else did he say? Oh my God, man. He had so many errors in his speech. He said, Gaza, they could have built Singapore. Man, I really hate when people see that. I really hate it. Singapore is an international hub of trade. Gaza is a blockade. Gaza, the people of Gaza, here's what Propaganda Doug Murray doesn't understand. Gaza is a prison. Things don't go in and out without the permission of Israel. So think about living in a prison. Imagine you lived in a prison. I'm like, hey, man, why don't you have money, man? Why don't you have a business? You're like, well, they don't allow me to buy, sell, trade. There's nothing for me. I can't mine. I can't sell my olives. I can't grow dates. I'm not allowed to farm. They destroy my farms. They break the water. They don't give us enough water. They don't allow us irrigation. What do you mean? That's the prison. That's how it works here. Oh, man, you're just not being good. You know, you got so much aid. Yeah, aid goes to just feeding us. We need it for food. Why don't you guys develop a beautiful landscape? Why don't you build hotels? There's nobody to... People are not allowed in here. There's no tourism. Oh, why don't you build condos and move into your condos? We can't afford condos. If we built the condos, you need somebody to put money and build condos. But why would you build condos in a place where everybody's poor? 40 to 50% are unemployed. There's no job. There's no economy. The UN said that by 2020, Gaza will be unlivable. So they had to increase the aid. Why? Because there is no economy. There's no GDP. There is no way to trade. They can't leave the country. They can't go in and out of the country. They can't go outside the country without permission. They need to work for Israel. So if they want a job, they have to go work for Israel. It's kind of like slave labor. It's like a modern day way of having slave. You put them behind a blockade and then they come, they do the chores for you. You know, they mow your lawns, they clean your streets, they do the menial jobs nobody wants to do, and then you send them back into the prison. It's a modern day slavery / prison. The Hamas group, they don't run the country. They don't control the borders. They don't control the registry. When you're born, you have to register with Israel. Israel controls your life. They control your water. They bomb you on a regular basis. They destroy your infrastructure. If you did build something, Israel will come and just tear it down. Israel doesn't allow steel and cement. Okay, of course they smuggle it from other ways, but the whole point is that they can't build anything that Israel sees. Israel sees something, they smash it, they break it. You don't have a permit for that. the people of Gaza cannot vote for the government. That's the whole argument, is that the people of Gaza cannot vote for the government that runs their life. Imagine, you can't vote for the government that runs your life. So they say, no, Hamas is running the country. No, Hamas does not run the country. Hamas is the equivalent of a prison gang. They're the equivalent of a prison gang. Yeah, they run the prison, but they don't run the country. They don't govern the country. They run the prison. They don't have an airport. They can't have trade. The sea is blocked. They're blocked in every which way, by the way. 360 degrees, they're blocked. So that was such an egregious, such a disgusting, such a horrible thing to say. Why don't you build it into a Singapore? It's like saying, it's like going to the slave in the transatlantic slave trade and saying, why don't you guys start a business? It's like, hello, we're not allowed to have a business. We're not allowed to work. We're not allowed to do what we want. We have to be here at one time. We have to be there at another time. We're not allowed to trade. Gazans are not allowed to trade. They're not allowed to export or import. They're not allowed. It's illegal to them. They get stopped physically. He said a lot of other nonsense. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it. Ask me questions. I'll answer it. But this is like, it was just nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. The other thing I really didn't like is he said, oh, Gaza's not a concentration camp. The UN, let me tell you something. You want to talk about expertise? You want to talk about people who are on the ground? The UN is there. They're investigating. The UN are experts. And the UN classifies it as a concentration camp. Amnesty International, Red Cross, they say it's a concentration camp. Concentration camp doesn't mean Auschwitz. Doesn't have to mean that. A concentration camp is when you have a lot of people in one area and the demand heavily outweighs the resources they have. Okay, so they don't have showering, they don't have enough food, they don't have enough plumbing, they don't have enough water, whatever it may be. Okay, they're concentrated in one area. There's more demand than we can give it. That's a concentration camp. Okay, you're concentrating a people in one place, refugees, war. It could be war. It could be anything, but you're concentrating them in one area, and they don't have enough food, water, drink, and they don't have enough. Okay, they don't have enough. Life is difficult in a concentration camp. It's gross. Okay, and he's like, oh, the population is growing. Cannot be a concentration camp. That's not the definition of concentration camp. Concentration camps can have a baby boom. People have children in a concentration camp. What else is there to do? They have low education on sex, reproduction, and they have very limited access to reproduction. What you call it? Birth control pills, condoms, etc. They have very little access to that sometimes. I'm not talking about Gaza particularly, but I'm talking about any concentration camp throughout history. You concentrate people in one place, they're going to have relationships, they're going to get married, the life is going to go on, they're going to have kids. That's one of the few things that they can do. Okay. So Gaza is recognized by the UN as a concentration camp. Okay, guys, what else we got here? Oh, well, dude, that's a very deep question. Please explain how you're always witnessing God all the time. Saw Abrahamic experience 10 times. Please explain how you approach Salah with this mindset. Well, dude, that's a very deep question. Maybe it's better for another time, but I'll give you a small rundown. Okay, look, think about this. Okay, first of all, you should look up that Abrahamic experience. Keep listening to it. You'll figure it out. But for those of you who haven't ever listened to it, look it up. Type in my name. Put in Abrahamic experience. Okay. Within every human being, there's a point of awareness. When you do your prayer, you do Allah Akbar. That symbolizes you're taking the whole world and you're throwing it behind you. That's why Muslims do this. Okay, that's why they go like this before the prayer. It means you're supposed to like take everything you've ever seen, everything you ever experienced, throw it behind you, and that includes the body. So what is there left? I love how Avicenna put it. He gave the hanging man analogy. And he was like, look, if you can't see, you can't taste, you can't hear, you can't smell, you can't feel, is there still something else? Yes, there's still something else. There's still something else. That something else, I like to refer to it as this point of awareness. That's why every time you do your salah, you're supposed to reconnect with that point of awareness. Now, people say, oh, it's within. No, it's not within. Because your concept of within and without is also contained in this one thing. This awareness. So you start realizing that the awareness is not within. Everything's within the awareness. It's opposite. You thought the sun goes around the earth. Now you're realizing, no, it's the earth going around the sun. You have this epiphany. Okay, it's similar to that. Okay, so This is why it's so important to kind of reflect on that point of awareness. Assalamu alaikum, coach. I just started BJJ and I have do you have any tips for me? Also, what should I focus on to improve fastest? That's from Jihad. See how this quick the show can go left and right? We're like driving one way, and then we take a hard left, and we turn again, and we take a hard right. It's a crazy show. It's a crazy show. Assalamu alaikum, coach. I started BJJ. You have any tips for me? Also, what should I focus on to improve fastest? That's from Jihad. Jihad, I will tell you, start with the basics. Don't go into the cool YouTube moves that you see on YouTube that have a million views. Try to stay away from that. Do guard, passing, and play guard really, really well. I highly recommend you get guard retention. I have a basics video on guard retention. And I highly recommend Ashigarami Made Easy. It's volume 3. I highly, highly recommend it. Get that video. Study that video. That will take you further than probably anything else out there. Guard retention and Ashigarami. And then passing. Okay, I have a passing video, body lock passing. You got to do it. Focus a lot on guard. That's what I would tell you. If you want to get really good, focus a lot on guard. Coach, do you think Lopez respected Volk too much? Kind of like the same phenomenon that happened with great GSP before his first fight with Sarah. Lopez was not pressuring like he previous fight. That's from the Nomadic Layman. No, I think George was the opposite. George didn't respect Sarah enough. He didn't realize how dangerous Matt Serra was. I think everybody was telling George how great he is, how he's better than Serra by miles. Guys, don't forget, when Matt Serra got that fight against George, you guys remember, who remembers how Matt Serra got the title shot? He went on The Ultimate Fighter for guys who had lost. These guys are getting a second chance. It was like a Rocky story. Matt Serra was about to be cut from UFC, if I remember correctly. Let me look it up, okay? He was on the show. He won the Ultimate Fighter, and the Ultimate Fighter gets to fight the champ. It's like a crazy only in America type of thing. So it was like, this guy can barely make it in UFC, and he's fighting the champ. Everybody was like, this is going to be an easy win for George St. Pierre. This is a gimme fight. Okay, which of course, there's no such thing. Hold on, let me look it up. There's no such thing as a gimme fight. That's what I'm telling you. When John Silva was like playing around with Bryce, looking at him from the corner of the eye, fighting him like he's not looking at him, I thought that's crazy, man. You don't want to take a punch like that, All right, let's look. Before he beat George St. Pierre and became the champion of the world, which is an incredible achievement. Okay, look, he beat George St. Pierre in 2007, okay? He had lost to Cairo Parisian. Okay, I was there that night. I can't remember who was fighting from our team, but I was there that night. I actually got to hang out with Cairo Parisian. Hold on, let me look this up. Hold on, who was fighting that night from us? Hold on, let me look real quick. I remember Cairo Parisian took a big punch early in round 1, came back to win. It was a crazy fight. Who was fighting? Oh, David Loiseau was fighting Charles McCarthy. He knocked out Charles McCarthy in round 2 at 2 minutes 10 seconds. Spinning back kick. David Loiseau, the first Quebecois to make it in UFC. And I was there with him, and I got to meet all these great fighters. It was an incredible time. So he goes to the Ultimate. He gets cut, or he's about to be cut. He's put in the show. These guys are guys who are like coming off a loss. He beats Pete Spratt, a very dangerous kickboxer, for those of you who are not part of that UFC era. Shawnee Carter. Shawnee Carter previously beat Matt Serra with a back fist. Knocked out Matt Serra. Sorry, did I say... I said Shawnee Carter. Shawnee Carter had knocked out Matt Serra with a back fist in UFC, famously. Matt Serra now is rematching him in the Ultimate Fighter. Guess what? He gets hit again with a back fist. This time survives it and beats Shawnee Carter. Shawnee Carter, a crazy striker, wild man. I've trained with him once in Chicago. Wild man, total wild man, very good striker. And, he's a wild man. He landed another spinning back fist. Like, it was like everybody thought, maybe he got lucky the first time. No, don't take this man lightly. This guy's been doing back fists for a long time, man. The guy's a killer. He hits a back fist on Matt Serra. Matt Serra recovers, beats him. So he barely could beat Shawnee Carter. Like, not barely, but I mean, he won by unanimous decision, but it was dangerous. Shoni Carter, good karate guy, hits him with a back fist. It was scary. Let's just say it was scary. I haven't watched that fight in many years. He comes back, beats Chris Lytle for the Ultimate Fighter win. He wins the show. He gets a shot at the champ. Only in America. Only in America. Take a guy who's an underdog, give him a chance to fight the champion of the world, and guess what? In round 1, he wins. A crazy turn of events. Everybody thought George St. Pierre was going to win. The truth is, we all took Matsera lightly, and we were humbled. We ate humble pie. Humble pie. So much so that we're still talking about it well over... How many years has it been? How many years has it been? Well over 10 years. I mean, is it 10 years? Has it been 10 years? No. Oh, no, hold on a second. Let me look it up. Matsera. No, it hasn't been 10 years. Has it been? Hold on a second. I get hit in the head way too often. Their fight was in what year? 2007. That's right, 2007. No, not 10 years. No, sorry. I was trying to say 20 years, guys. Almost 20 years. Almost 20 years. Not 10 years. Almost 20 years. Incredible. Okay, guys. I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. Coach, what do you think of the successful imposition of one's will as the chief criterion for judging a fight rather than one's, such as effective striking or quote effective striking or quote effective grappling? I don't know what that means, imposing one's will. You know, it's too vague. And your handle is low fight IQ. So low fight IQ, self-proclaimed low fight IQ, is asking, Coach, what do you think of the successful imposition of one's will as chief criterion for judging? What does it mean? People always tell me that. Impose your will, impose your will. What does that mean? What does that mean? Impose your will. Like, I want to knock you out. So you want me to impose my will. So I got to go knock you out. Do you have a 3-step plan? Like, how do I do that? Do I just will it really badly? Like, you have to express that will somehow, right? I have to kick, punch, slip, move out of the way. I have to grab you in a certain way. I have to pin you in a certain way. I have to isolate one of your limbs and break it. Like, what about that part? Why don't you give me some advice on that part? What does it mean, impose your will? It's just completely vague. Coach, who is the freakiest athlete you ever trained in terms of natural gifts, muscle, mass, speed, and any training stories with that individual? That's from Drew Mack. Drew, that'll probably be Johnny Bones Jones. Okay, I trained Johnny Bones Jones before he was a megastar. I knew he was going to be a world champion. I helped train him for his fight with Shogun. Me and him were very close personally before all the crazy shenanigans, and I'm actually happy we parted ways because I wouldn't want to be part of that. But he was an incredible athlete. Just in my opinion, what really freaked me out is like he wouldn't train that much. I used to call him Lazy Bones Jones. I wouldn't call him Johnny Bones Jones. Everybody calls him Johnny Bones Jones. I used to call him Lazy Bones in the gym. I used to call him Lazy Bones. I used to spar with him. I used to grapple with him. We were friends. We were good buddies, and I was training him at the same time. But he had no... Let's just say he Montreal wasn't for him. Let's just say that. Okay, I'm not going to go further than that. Okay. And I was really busy with George, so I couldn't get involved as much as in his career. He wanted me to travel and go to him. I couldn't do it. I was really busy with George. I couldn't travel to go and train him. George was fighting all the time, so I was really busy with George. So we kind of parted ways, but he was an incredible athlete. To answer your question, an incredible, incredible athlete. To give you a story, John Jones would only want to train 6 or 7 weeks before fight. That's it. He didn't want to train more. Maybe 8 weeks, okay? Maybe 8 weeks. And the rest of the time, he kind of like pop in and out. You know, he would like to watch fights, kind of like chill. Because you have to understand, I've seen athletes do that, okay? Those athletes, they're training from a young age. Like, he spent every summer of his life in wrestling camp. So for him, training camp is like, he knows what he's doing. He's done it a million times. For him, he just wants to do a little bit of striking here and there, and he thinks about it in his head. He's just a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete. He can get away with it. Salam, Coach. What are your thoughts on Sneako's transition into boxing, and who do you think should be the first opponent since his original opponent backed out and ran? That's from Talal Ghazi. Talal, I didn't know he was in boxing. I had no idea. I have no idea. I did a podcast with him a few months ago, but I have no idea. Guys, don't forget to use promo code GET55 off and get absolutely anything on Juju Club. Don't forget to punch in the promo. I can't do it for you, so please do not come crying after with emails that you forgot to put in the promo. Okay? I'm the one with the CTE, not you guys. Come on. What is the future and potential of Dominic Reyes? That's from Port Film. He's won. I didn't see his fight, but I heard he won his fight in a big way with a big knockout. I got to go back and watch it. Congratulations to him. I got to hang out with him. You know, he's a very smart guy, very good athlete. He had a bad string. I think he had lost like 3 in a row. Then he came back to win it 3 in a row. Reyes. He's on a win streak now, right? He's doing well. Dominic Reyes. Let's see here. 9-4 in UFC. That's right. Okay, no, he had a really bad. He lost to John, which was very controversial. Then he lost to Blachowicz, Jiri, and then Ryan Spann. So 4 losses in a row. The UFC kept him on, and now he's on a 3-fight win streak. 3 KOs or TKO. So he's 3 stoppages. Incredible. So he was stopped 3 out of his last 4 losses. And then he won on a win streak, 3-fight win streak. You see how he can turn things around, man. You can turn things around. Never count anybody out. Don't count these men out. These guys want it really bad. Think how what a dark time that is. He lost 4 fights. One of them being to John Jones, which was very controversial, so it wasn't that bad. But then he went on a slide, man, getting stopped 3 times. Imagine what that does to a man's psyche. Imagine how many doubters and haters he had on his back. Now he's back. 3 wins in a row. 3 big stoppages. You know, imagine what a heart you have to dig through something like that. It's pretty commendable. Hey, Coach, any of your instructionals have a heavy bag routine, and how far do you think Patty will go in the sport? Thanks for all the great videos. Christopher Garcia, yes, check out A Man's Guide to Throwing a Punch. I did a version 2, so if you bought it once, you still have version 2. I put in combinations hitting the bag. It's over an hour long, so I added an extra hour because people were asking me about specific combos for the bag. So we went and added an extra hour. I show you guys my favorite combos to use on the bag. Of course, their inspiration. It's plenty of content. Use that to inspire you to make your own combinations. You know, I talk about it in the video, but use these combinations. If you don't know which combinations, I'm showing you classic combinations. You have to master the classics. I show you how to, one thing about that video that's really, really good, I think a lot of people would benefit from is, and I was working with one of the pros today, and I was reminding him of this. You got to pause for power. Like your workout, when you do a bag workout, you want to start with explosiveness. Okay, because I talk about it in the video. Okay, there's 3 stages to a workout. There's the warm-up, there's the technique part, and then there's the conditioning. We always end with conditioning. Okay, so the warm-up's your shadow, technique, stuff like that. Then we're hitting the bag. Okay, that's part of the workout, the sport-specific workout. And I talk about when I start a bag work, let's say I'm doing 20 rounds or 15 rounds or whatever it is. The first half of my bag work is going to be explosive with pausing. So let's say I'm doing jab, jab, hook, cross. Let's say whatever combo. I'm going to do that really hard and fast. And then I'm going to pause. And I'm going to do it again really, really hard and fast. Pop, 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 pop. And then I'm going to pause. And I'm going to circle around the bag. And I'm going to do my footwork. Then I'm going to pause. I'm going to go pop, 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 pop. And then I'm going to pause. Why? Because if I go on the bag and I start pedaling, I'm not developing any power. The beginning of the fight is all about power, speed, explosiveness. As fatigue starts to wear in, then we start doing what I call pedaling. When you're starting to do like 8 punch combos and you're not pausing anymore, you're trying to get volume because we're at a different stage of the fight. Whereas we can't really knock each other out anymore with 1 punch. Of course, it's still possible. It's just statistically less significant. Okay, most KOs happen in round 1, statistically. So now it's more volume. If I want to stop you, it's volume. It's not 1 punch KO. Like statistically, 1 punch shots happen really in the first round and a half. If you want to talk 1 punch, 1 KO, it doesn't happen as often in the later rounds. It does happen. Just because I said it doesn't happen as often, I'm talking statistically. So with that being said, when we train the heavy bag, we start with explosive combinations. Pause, explode, pause, explode. If you don't pause, you're bringing on fatigue. If you bring on fatigue, you're taking away explosiveness. So how do you develop explosive power, speed? Well, you got to pause for power. And how do you develop endurance? Well, later in your workout, you got to start making those pauses shorter and shorter. You got to increase the volume. Instead of intensity, you're increasing volume. So I go through it in the video. So you got to pick up a man's guide to throwing a punch. Check it out. It's a great video. a man's guide to throwing a punch. And I even give you a PDF with workout routines to inspire your workout routines. And we talk a lot about, also I show how to engage in a street fight. If you're going to get in a street fight, people ask me this question all the time. If somebody walks up to you and they want to fight you on the street, how should you stand? How should you position yourself? What is the best way to position yourself to not get hit in the groin? Because I always prioritize getting hit in the groin or getting hit in the chin. Now, of course, I don't want to get hit in the liver. I don't want to get hit in the chest, like in the sternum or anything like that. I'm prioritizing the groin, eyes, chin. I'm not going to let the guy hit me. Everything else is protected, but it's not a primary target. I don't want to get hit in the chin. I don't want to get hit in the eyes, and I don't want to get hit in the groin. Okay, so make sure to check that out. Hey, Coach, do you have any knowledge in Dante's Inferno or Paradise Lost? That's from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Somebody gave me that book, Paradise Lost, but I haven't read it. Or no, was it Virgins of Paradise? I can't remember. No, I'm not familiar with Paradise Lost. Forget it, but it rings a bell. Dante's Inferno, I've heard about it. I've read, materials that refer to it, so I'm kind of familiar. But I haven't read Dante's Inferno myself, but I've heard plenty about it. It's a very famous piece of work. Coach, Mofsar is going to beat Volk and get the belt. That's from Yahya. That's very possible. Very, very possible. Mofsar is a very, very tough opponent. He doesn't get tired. He's a great wrestler. He's very positionally strong as well. Thoughts on Travis Brown as a fighter? Let's look up his record. Travis Brown. Rings a bell. 9-7 in UFC. Last fight was 2017. Man, he fought Olenek, Derek Lewis. Oh, Travis Brown, the guy who was dating. Yeah, I know him. Excuse me. Where did my head go? He was dating Ronda Rousey. I've met him. I've talked to him. I've hung out with him. He's a very dangerous guy. Yeah, he's a very big guy, very strong guy. He lost 4 fights in UFC. Goodness gracious, in a row. So I guess he got cut 2017. Wow. Okay. So he's 9-7 in UFC. 1 draw. He beat Arlovsky. He lost to Arlovsky. He beat Brendan Schaub. He beat Josh Barnett. That's a huge win. He beat Alistair Overeem. That's a huge win. He beat Gabriel Gonzaga. That's a huge win. I mean, look, the guy's beat some legends. He's beat some legends. And he beat Matt Mitrione also. That's a great win. He lost to Kane. He lost to Verdum. He lost to Lewis. He lost to Alyanik. Neck crank round 2. I have to go back and watch that. Look, he was a great fighter. He was a great heavyweight. Sure. Very dangerous guy. Do you think Mighty Mouse is in the top 3 of all time? That's from Pablo. Pablo, I love Mighty Mouse. I'm a big fan. I wouldn't say, if you're talking about GOAT status, he wouldn't be in my top 3. Why? Because the 125 division is not as stacked as the other divisions. I gotta be honest, okay? It's a very tough division, sure, but it's not like 155, 145, 135, 170. Those divisions are stacked. It's just mind-boggling how hard those divisions are. Once you get to 185, 205, heavyweight, it starts to get thinner. There's not that many guys. Most guys are not training their entire life in that sport. They're just really big. There's not many human beings that size. The human beings that are in that size, the best athletes are all in football. Like if you're a 35er, if you're a 45er, if you're a 55er, and you're an incredible athlete, you're still not playing football. You're still not playing basketball. You still won't qualify for those sports. But if you're a 205er and you're a supreme athlete, why aren't you playing NFL? Why aren't you playing basketball? Why aren't you, you know what I mean? Like you'd be in those sports where they're giving you like $20 million paychecks. You're fighting here for 50 and 50. I'm like, why would you do that if you're a mega athlete? You know what I mean? So, and the guys who are super heavy, the guys who are heavyweight are all, they're linebackers. They're linemen. They're not going to go in MMA. Coach, why do you do AMAs? That's from Tahir Salkik. Well, I started as for my sponsors, and then, I kept going, and we seem to enjoy it. Everybody likes it. Everybody encourages me to do it. I do like to do it. I do like to engage my fans. Of course, we have a Juji Club, putting it out there as well. It helps, but I like to engage with the fans and Like everybody who goes on social media, they like to interact and build their following. And it's not a full-time job. It's not what I do for a living. If one day, for some reason, I can't do mixed martial arts, would I do a podcast full-time? It could be something I would have interest. Build a studio, have guests come in, have interesting conversations. Guys, I studied philosophy. I like to converse. I like logic, cross-examining what's happening in the world today. I like to think about the world around me. I like to study it, think about it, discuss it. I find it to be very important. Also, I did see in the news, Money Mayweather. That's another, thing, headline today. Open up my feed. What's in the news today? Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Bankrupt, they're saying. Bankrupt. I've told you guys on this channel before. I've told you all about this guy. He's all about money. He's insane. The man's lost his mind. He's so fixated on money. He will do anything for money. But the amount of money he's made, for him to go broke, which I don't believe he's totally broke. I'm sure they're probably seizing some assets. It's all like he has too many assets to be broke. Like, how could you lose that much money? It's mind-boggling to me. Now, look, I'm not naive enough to think he walked away with $100 million every fight. I don't believe that. I don't believe those numbers. I think they're inflated. But the guy's worth $100 million. That's without a doubt in my mind. He's got to have had $100 million in his possession at the very least. Let's say we're going to give 20% to lawyers' fees. Even let's call it 50% fees, taxes, lawyers. Let's call it 50%. Let's go crazy. He still got $50 million. Like, that's a tremendous amount of money. Let's go even crazier. Let's say he lost $25 million walking around the street and just dropped it on. Let's just get crazier. $25 million is an insane amount of money. It's an insane amount of money. Of course, he has, lifestyle of watches, cars, Bugatti. I'm not saying you could live like that with 25 million. What I'm just saying is that even if you made it at just 25 million, you should be set for life. And you could still live in a mansion and do well and have a Bugatti. No, you're not going to have 30 Bugattis. You're not going to have 50 Rolexes, $100,000 Rolexes. Like, he was going so extreme in his extravagance. It's like a disease. The guy has a disease. Like, oh, I have 5 more Rolexes. I have 8 Bugattis. I don't even drive this car. I have this Ferrari. I have this rare car. I have this house over here. I have another house over there. It's like, dude, you can't live in 20 houses. You can't drive 30 cars. You can't wear 55 watches. Like, what do you do with all this stuff? It's depreciating in value. Save the watches. But his cars are probably depreciating. Actually, maybe not the Bugattis. I don't know if they appreciate in value or not. House is definitely not. Like, I think if he was investing, okay, I'm all for it. I think that's good. But just spending so you can have something to put on social media is the way you're going to go broke. Like, did he do that? Was he dumb enough? Was he dumb enough to buy properties? I mean, if he bought properties, how could he be broke? He just got to liquidate them. Liquidation is not bankruptcy. How could you go bankrupt with so much money? It's mind-boggling to me. It's really mind-boggling. Coach, you ever seen Ibragimov fight? No, I haven't, but I've heard about him. Let me look at him right now, actually. I have. They say he's like a crazy wrestler with crazy knockout power, right? Is that the guy? He's in PFL, am I correct? Hold on a second. How do you spell his name? Ibragimov. Forgive me. It's Ibragimov. Yeah, it's the PFL guy, right? Ibragimov. Okay, I'm going to put this up on screen. 20 years old, 146. All right, guys, here comes the button-pushing skills extraordinaire. Watch this. Watch this, gentlemen. I'll have you watching a fight in no time. Feast your eyes. I'm going to get this up in record time. is. Look at that. I did it in record time. Button pushing skills extraordinaire. It only took me nearly 200 episodes, but I figured it out. All right, let's watch this.
That is a very tall featherweight, although he did miss the featherweight limit at 147 pounds. Ibra didn't even think about turning the fight down despite the misweight. Oversee the action here. Kenny Volkanovski's got the black trunks. Ibra Ibragimov is in the light blue. Oh! Sharp inside kick takes the base out from under Volkanovski temporarily.
Look at the height and reach of Volkanovski.
You don't see headlock throws very often in MMA these days.
Side control position.
Gotta watch this reverse triangle. He needs to get that arm back from between the legs of Volkanovski.
The gentleman on the bottom is not very schooled on the ground. You could tell right away.
Ibra's gonna be cautious because
I'm going to skip through this a little bit.
If Kenny can clear the head, he's gonna go for a. It looks like he's trying to set up a triangle again, perhaps.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Ibra's trying to grab the hips and pull him away again. Kenny's worked back to his knees. See if he can
You guys, I'm fast forwarding because this is not like elite grappling or anything. All right, let's see. Round 2. Again, he gets hit with another left hand. Okay, here's the thing. The guy he's fighting ain't that schooled. Mokowana. I'm sure he's a tough guy. He's from Ireland, but he's just not very well schooled, you know? So, I mean, I'm fast forwarding here, guys, because this is like, I can't go through all this. Oh, he's a Kavanagh guy. Okay, round 3. Let's see. I'm going to restart round 3. Okay, let's go.
one last 5-minute frame. And again, Ibra opens it up with that same kick.
Identical. But which takedown this time is the question.
Beautiful. Here's the hands now of Ibrahim. He's gone southpaw. You notice that guy is beautiful. Faster hands. Here we go again. He's going for a ride by the looks of things. There we go. Incredible.
Gave us a little smile in the commentary booth before he nailed that takedown as well. He's just going through the wrestling technique.
Guys, I'm going to fast forward this because the guy in the blue is just not really skilled enough to hang, you know. He's not really a wrestler, not really a grappler too much. He has some grappling, but he's not very advanced. Oh, no, he had a triangle attempt, actually. I might have spoken too soon. Look at that. He slipped on a triangle. He's just balling him with the wrestling. Guys, look, I got to tell you, look, there's a lot of good fighters in PFL, but I can't say that this is like the best PFL fighters I've seen. You know, I've seen better PFL fighters. Maybe he's going to develop. Maybe he's going to reach new levels. But right now, as of what I saw, round 1, he got hit after throwing a lazy kick. He got hit. And then round 2, he started the same way and got hit again. He's maybe not the most polished striker. And his takedowns were good. His grappling is good. But he's not fighting a super seasoned grappler. And he has yet to sub him or punish him with ground and pound. So maybe he's a really big star coming up in PFL, but PFL is not the same level as UFC. At 145, maybe he's elite in PFL, but he wouldn't crack the top, top 15 in 145. Like 145, he'd have a hard time. From what I saw in that fight, maybe that's an old fight, very possible. But what I saw from his striking, imagine he's fighting a Yair. Goodness gracious, imagine he's fighting a Lopez or a Jean Silva. You know, like this would be a tall order for him. Very tall order. I don't want to say I would never say bum, guys. I'm not saying the man's a bum. I'm just saying that he's developing. I don't know how many fights he has, how many years, how old he is. He seems very young. I'm not sure how old he is. But that guy can become a superstar. Maybe now he's in a certain stage of his career. What else we got here? Coach, tell the gentlemen over here we need to go to Hollywood with the straps. Tell John Wick who's the man out there. Keanu Zahabi, I have to show some respect. That's from Segura. Gabriel Segura, my boy. Listen, I just found out recently that Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon, which is a major problem. Let me tell you why that's a major problem. Because, of course, I'm Lebanese. Wick, many years ago, stole one of my moves. Let me tell you guys this story with a visual. Okay. Now, I was on the mat just a few weeks ago, and I was asking one of my students, where he's from, and his name is Keanu. He's been training with me for years, but I didn't know where he was from, but I know his name is Keanu. And he's like, I'm Lebanese. I'm like, really? You're Lebanese? Why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, I'm like, I didn't think you would be Lebanese because your name is Keanu. I'm like, how did you get the name Keanu? You're a Lebanese. And he's like, oh, because Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut. And, his parents are fans, so they named him Keanu. I'm like, what? Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut? I never heard that. He's like, yeah. Keanu Reeves is born in Beirut. And I'm like, no. So I'm like, look, that can't be right because, years ago, he stole one of my moves. Let me show you guys a little video here. I'll show you guys a little video, okay? Many years ago, in a universe far, far away, this is a video of me sparring here, okay? You guys are going to get a kick out of this. Okay, so here's a video of me sparring. Oops. Okay, so this is me sparring here. And I used to do this move, okay? When I used to spar, I used to do this move all the time. I called it the web guard. Okay, so look, that's me here. That's me jumping, okay? I'm jumping guard, but I would jump in a way where I would be inverted. Okay, I would be inverted. Let me try to blow this up a little bit more. Oh, no, not this. Okay, here. Uh-oh, wrong. Okay, uh-oh, it disappeared on me. Hold on a second, gentlemen. I pushed the wrong button. Don't you hate when you push the wrong button? Hold on a second. Where's the button? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Here we go. There we go. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is back. My apologies. So I'm like jumping upside down and I'm grabbing guys and I'm rolling them over. And it was a great move. It's called the web guard. I used to call it the web guard. I used to rush people punching and kicking. And then whenever they would grab a hold of me, if they grabbed me with an underhook, I would jump web guard. If I grabbed them with an underhook, I could also do it. So it didn't matter to me, which is what I loved because as soon as we tied up, I can get the fight to the ground. Okay, so look, you can see here, I have a collar tie here. As soon as my partner puts in an underhook or grabs an overhook, I'm going to jump. So look, you can see here, he grabbed an underhook on me. Beautiful. All I got to do is wrap the back of his neck, jump up with my left knee behind his back. And now you can see we're falling in a way where he can't recover. Even if he gets on top of me, I'm going to end up in omoplata or K-guard. You guys know I love K-guard. I'm a big believer in K-guard. I'm going to let this play through. You see, I grabbed the overhook. I jumped. Even if my partner refuses to go down the ground, I could bring him down. There's no way he could stop me because I'm grabbing the back of his head and I'm grabbing his leg. So I'm kind of cradling him. And he's just trapped. He's trapped. There's tension. There's a pull and there's a push. There's just not much he can do. And from here, you can go armbar. You could spin to K-guard, triangle, omoplata. It's such a great way to get the fight to the ground. Okay, so I did a whole thing on this. Nobody's ever done in this move. Okay, this is my move. It's not a flying armbar. It's not a flying triangle. It seems similar. And it got a lot of views. People were talking about it. They played it on Joe Rogan, and it was really cool. I stopped doing it because I saw one video of me doing it. And I saw my partner's knee bend because people were telling me, oh, isn't that dangerous for the knee? I was like, no. I'm jumping in a different way. I'm jumping in a different way. I'm jumping in a way that's really on the hip. I'm jumping on the hip, not on the knee. The knee is going to make me fall to the ground. I was like, I'm jumping guard me. It's like jumping guard. Then I was watching myself do it. I was watching highlights of me doing it, and I jumped on in a match. I was jumped, and I saw my partner's knee bend, and I was like, oh my God, I could have broke his ACL. I said, okay, I'm not going to. That's when I stopped doing it. So, lo and behold, I put this move out in circulation. But then a man, hold on a second, by the name, hold on a second, of Keanu Reeves. Hold on a second. What am I doing here? Give me a few more seconds. I'm going to push some buttons and make some magic happen. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to show you a video of Keanu Reeves ripping me off. The man actually dared to rip me off. Now, I'm used to the white man stealing from me, but if he's a fellow Lebanese, that's the problem. Now that he's a fellow Lebanese, I know that he's a fellow Lebanese, I must insist that I collect from him. Where is this video? I have a video of him ripping me off. Give me 1 second. I know exactly where it is. Here it is. Here it is. It's actually a really cool video. Okay. It's actually a really cool video. Like I said, when the white man steals from me, I'm not so upset. I expect it. But a fellow Lebanese? No. This cannot be go unpunished. Watch this. Watch how he bites my technique. Watch this. Are you watching this? See, that's me in the window there. They put my move. They said that's where they got it from, you know? He jumps web guard in the movie. They even clipped me in the video. Look, long story short, Keanu, you owe me Masari. I'm coming to collect. I'm going to find you in Hollywood, son. And you're going to do the right thing and you're going to pay your dues. That move is patent pending. So anyways, we kind of laughed about it in the gym because Lebanese guys, we know how it works. You can't just take from a fellow Lebanese. You can't just do that. You were born in Beirut. I thought he was a Hollywood. I thought he was a European. I thought maybe he's an American. He's a foreigner. No, he's one of us. You can't just take. You can't just take like that. Shame on you. He knows. He knows our culture. Keanu knows exactly what I mean. All right, guys. What else is there? Plagiarism, same sweep too. That's from Al Jamaini. You know it, man. You know it. That was 100% copyright. My friend Arnold trained with you guys right now. That's from AB. Yeah, that's right. He spent a week with us. Arnold spent a week with us, and he's headed back home. Was it today? Yeah, today. All right. Did I miss super chats? Give me a second here, guys. I know you guys spend your hard-earned money. Coach, you missed my super chat. I don't think I did. How could that be? Paulo May. Salam, coach. How does Abrahamic heaven work if our needs are dunya based? Would paradise need duality for eternal bliss to be meaningful? Paulo is asking a very mysterious question. Salam, coach. How does Abrahamic heaven work? I don't know what Abrahamic heaven is. So, I mean the Abrahamic religions. Okay. If our needs are dunya based, so you mean like, okay, in this world you need food, you need shelter, you need warmth, okay? So would paradise need duality for eternal bliss to be meaningful? I don't think you understand what duality means. Okay, duality, usually when we use dualism in philosophy, we mean you have a body and you have a soul. Do these two are fundamentally different. They're different materials and they intertwine somehow, some way? Or is it just body? Or is everything just idea? All soul. Is it all soul? Is it all body? Or is it a mixture of the two? That's what duality means. Okay? So people who claim it's a mixture of the two. In the afterlife, it can be anything you want. Anything. There's no limitation. Abrahamic religions, there's no limitation. It's just pure bliss. Nothing you've seen in this world is going to be in the next world. It's all just ways to make you understand. It's bliss. So you're going to think, oh, there's going to be food in the next world. I'm going to enjoy it like this food. Yes, there's food in the next world, but a different kind of food. Nothing in this world is similar to the next. Okay, so that's how it's explained. It's beyond imagination. Don't bother trying to understand it because it's not understandable. It's beyond our experience. It's beyond the experience. And you'd have to think that, right? If you really think you know everything that's within your experience is what's known, that's incredibly ignorant. Think about how much there's a organic organism that lives on my skin right now. Imagine it had some intellect and it was thinking, oh, look, this skin that I live on, it's everything that exists. It's everything that exists. Like, there's just nothing more. Everything that exists is like the skin and more. There's just more of it. If I went really, really far, just more of it. But then you go there and you try to explain to it. No, you don't understand. You're just on a hand. You're just on a human hand. And the guy's on the internet. That's what all that clicking sound was. You thought it was cosmic, this and that. It's not even cosmic. You're not even out of the atmosphere. It's just him typing on a keyboard. You're like, what's a keyboard? Well, for me to explain to you what a keyboard is, it's like out of your purview. It's out of your experience. It's not, you won't be able to understand what we're talking about. There's so much beyond our experience. You got to think like that. You got to think the world is fractal. Like there's an infinite amount of things to know. So what we know, what we've come across, people could say 1%. It's not even 1%. It's not even. So just imagine what could it be? And your imagination would never be able to be wild enough to actually hit what's out there. Think about that. What's out there is so unimaginable. Right? People ask me, do you believe in dimensions? I'm like, yeah, of course dimensions exist. What do you think? Everything we know is in our dimensions? Like, how crazy is that? That would be insane. You got to know how much you don't know. You got to imagine how much you don't know. You got to realize how tiny, how insignificant. And then you got to be like, even if my wildest imagination couldn't reach all the variety of things that exist. That's how you have to think about it. I don't want to get too much into it now, but really that's what it is. If that little germ that lived on my hand had some intellect, its wildest dreams, it couldn't dream a computer. Its wildest dream, it couldn't dream the ecosystem. It couldn't dream it. It's too out of its purview. Thoughts on the U.S. economy right now? The dollar is losing value and tariff war is escalating. That's from Lame MMA. Lame, I'm concerned, man. I am definitely concerned, but I'll tell you something. It's either Trump is like a super genius playing 4D chess, or he's like a kid in the White House pushing all the wrong buttons and just like having a tantrum. It seems like everybody now is working together against the U.S. Canada has this weird rule where we're not allowed to send goods from one province to the other. There's no border, but we're not allowed to send goods from one province to the other. Now they're getting rid of that in Canada. So they're making it more efficient now to sell goods from one border to the other. Not even border, from one province to the other, which is crazy. I didn't know they had that rule. I'm like, why? When I found out about that rule, I'm like, that's insane. Why the hell why would Canadians want to limit Canadians? That's insane. And then when you go to our stores now, it says Canada made. Everybody wants to buy Canada made first. If you're a kid, American made, now they're putting you on the bottom shelf. Canada's angry with America. Canada doesn't want to play nice. And let me tell you something. Canada's like the nicest country in the world. Everybody's so sweet, kind, and friendly, generally speaking. If you bump into somebody, they're going to be like, excuse me, sir, pardon me for bumping into you. They're going to ask you, they're going to apologize to you. They're going to be really nice about it. Like, Canadians are friendly. The Canadians are pissed. That means Trump really insulted the Canadian people. Everybody's like, don't buy American. They want to retaliate with the tariffs, the Canadians. The Chinese, I was just listening to the Chinese ambassador the other day. He's like, China's been around for 5,000 years. We're going to be here the next 5,000 years, with or without America. And then the interlocutor, the American lady, she's like, yes, but we're 12% of your GDP or your commerce. He's like, I don't care. We don't care. China doesn't care. China doesn't care about America. We don't think about America. Until America treats us with respect, we don't care. We're going to focus on ourselves. We don't care. We're going to be here 5,000 years from now. I was like, damn, man, that's the right way to think about it. He's like, I don't care. She's like, well, we're 12% of a certain, she was trying to bring out a statistic. He's like, I don't care, 12%. I don't care. He wants respect. That man wants respect. Now, I want to be fair here. I don't know what's going on in tariff wars. I don't know if Trump is right that America is getting the short end of the stick and this has to end. I don't know if that's true or not, guys. I don't know. So I'm not trying to say take sides here. What I'm going to tell you, though, is they put up one clip of Trump saying, the best trade deal ever. The best trade deal. I got us the best trade deal ever. And then they play another clip of his new presidency where he's saying, worst trade deal ever. Who signed that trade deal? Meaning they were trying to imply that Trump made the trade deal in his first term, and now he's destroying the trade deal in his second term. And Biden just maintained it, supposedly. Now, is that true? I didn't fact check it. But if it is true that he made the trade deal and that he broke the trade deal, it would seem to me he's just a kid in the White House pushing buttons, having a tantrum. Unless he's playing 5D chess, which I don't think he is. Now, is it true he made that trade deal? And is it true that it's the same trade deal? And that Trump just doesn't remember? Is that what? Because, I don't trust media these days. They're always trying to bat. One media is trying to say he's the greatest, and one media is trying to say he's the worst. And then I kind of listen to both and try to find what makes sense. And I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time. Does the man know what he's doing? Well, it seems so far that the stock market is crashing and people are saying he's doing it on purpose. It's a brilliant move. He needs to bring the stock market down and he's going to do this and that. And they have these philosophies about cryptocurrency, how they're going to tie it back in. And guys, this is not my universe. It's not my lane. So I'm just listening. I'm keeping an ear out, but it's not really what I know. So it just seems like they're in a fight. And it seems like the whole world is getting together against America. It seems like everybody's plotting and strategizing against America. Good takes. Didn't know about Canada province trade. Seems like a good thing for Canada. That's from Lame MMA. Yes, that's crazy. I can't believe they would limit themselves like that. But now everybody in Canada wants to buy Canadian first. So like when you go to the stores, they have a little sign. This is a Canadian-made product. All the Canadian-made products now are getting prime space on the shelf. U.S. products down low, or nobody wants to bend over and reach. People don't really look. By duality, I mean contrasting. Example, hot needing cold. If you were eternally happy, would that concept make sense without the potential of ever being sad? That's from Polo May. Okay, Polo May, you spent $5 on that question. I hear what you're saying. We talked about that in the past, okay? We talked about imagine you lived in a world of all darkness. Everybody was blind. Or not blind, there's no light. It's just pure darkness. We're walking around with sticks and we're kind of feeling ourselves or feeling around, and we're finding our way like a blind man does. And then somebody flicks on a light and we see light for the first time. Then we turn it off. We're like, hey, whenever there's light, there's no darkness. Whenever there's darkness, there's no light. And sometimes you can have an in-between, but they're like always kind of like battling each other. And we'd be like, those two are opposites. Okay. And just because we experience darkness doesn't mean we could deduce light. We have to experience light. So because I have light doesn't mean I know about darkness. Imagine I was in a universe where everything's so bright you can't see anything. It's like you're staring at the sun and you're completely blinded by light all the time. You wouldn't know anything about darkness until darkness is dimmed. The lights are dimmed and then you see darkness. You'd be like, oh, wow, that's the opposite of what I had before. And you start realizing darkness is a thing. It's the same thing with hot and cold. Imagine the whole world's temperature. Everything in the universe was 37 degrees Celsius. Imagine. Nothing would be cold. Nothing would be warm. Nothing would be icy. Nothing would be anything to you in terms of temperature. We wouldn't talk about the weather ever. We would never talk about the temperature. Imagine the temperature was always the same way. Same humidity, same everything. We wouldn't know temperature exists. The only way we know temperature exists because some days are cooler than others. Some days are hotter than others. Then we realize, hey, we're never hot and cold at the same time. It's always one or the other. These two are contrast. We would only know it exists by knowing its opposite. I hear what you're saying. Now you're saying, look, how could we be happy if we don't know sad? Well, look at my examples. You could know dark without knowing light. I have to show you light to know that darkness is the opposite. But you can live darkness. You can live light. You can have happiness. And when we're going to have happiness, we're still going to have memories of this world. So you're going to remember life was uncomfortable. You're going to have a vague memory, like a dream. It's going to be like a dream. Okay, so you're going to have a vague memory. Now here's the thing. You can be happy without having pain. Like you can know darkness without knowing light. But when you know the two, you realize they're never both in the same place. They're never both in the same place. Or when you augment one, the other one disappears. Right? So if you kind of tell me, look, I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Well, okay, that's it. But if I turned up the volume on the happy, if I cranked it up, you'll be like, hey man, I'm super thrilled. I have no trace of fatigue or sadness, and I don't remember what I was sad about earlier, because you couldn't be both at the same time. Okay, so it's more complicated than what you made it out to be. It's not that you need one to know the other. Okay, it's not necessarily so. All right, guys, what else we got here? How long have we been rolling here? Rolling an hour and a half. Coach doesn't control who goes on JRE. No, I do not control who goes on JRE. Salam, Coach. Please drop the link of your chin strap to keep mouth closed for sleep. Also, please debate someone on JRE for Palestine. Allah, that's from King Hasbullah. Well, you know what? I think there's many, many, many better people than me. Think about it. I'm an MMA coach. I could dismantle Douglas Murray. I think I could dismantle him. But I'm an MMA coach. That's not what I do all day long. It's not what I study all day long. I can do it because I just follow the news. I look at the news every day. I follow the news. I've been doing it, for a couple of years now, since the war started, 2023. And of course, I knew about the story before, but now I'm going more in depth. And it's glaringly obvious what's going on. It's glaringly obvious. Now, of course, I've been hearing about Palestine since I'm a kid. I have a Palestinian family. It's just reached a boiling point now. It's absurd that these genocide apologists, it's really disgusting. It's really horrific. And Propaganda Doug Murray said something so vicious, so disgusting. He said, this is really what pisses me off about him. He's like, oh no, they're not killing civilians on purpose. It's like he's really going there to tell you, look, we're killing all these people. It's all by mistake. All these dead people, all these children, all these women, all these innocent kids. It's just a mistake. It's just boom. We're shooting at the bad guy. We killed the little girl. We're shooting at the bad guy. Let me tell you something. That's the biggest load of BS you ever heard in your life. It's disgusting. He's out there trying to make up stories to hide the death of children. Like, what a sick and disgusting human being. And let me prove him wrong right now. Okay, I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to show you how wrong he is about that. Imagine a world leader says, remember what Amalek did to you. And then you go look up Amalek. What's Amalek? For those of you who haven't read the Hebrew Bible, which I have, I studied in university. Amalek is a call to genocide. The Jews are mandated by God in the Bible to go and kill and wipe out Amalek. Literally, it says kill the men, the women, the children, wipe out the chickens, every livestock, wipe them off the face of the earth, even the sheep. But why the sheep? They have anything to do with Amalek? Wipe them out. Now, Amalek in the Hebrew Bible is not the Palestinians. That's the heathens. That's the pagans. That's the idolaters. We're monotheists. We believe in the same God as you. We believe in Moses. We believe in the Ten Commandments. You're calling us Amalek? You're calling us Amalek. By calling the Palestinians Amalek, what does that mean? How could you interpret it any other way? He's telling you, look, we're going to wipe them out. He's dog whistling. Now, Douglas knows this. He's just making cover for the murders. He's just making cover for the genocide. Now, what if I told you the president of a country says, there are no innocent civilians. This rhetoric of innocent civilians is completely untrue. They're all responsible. They should have done a coup. A coup means like you should have taken over your government. The people should have risen up and killed Hamas. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of people dying in your war, they're too young to do anything about anything. They didn't even exist when Hamas was formed. But he's saying on record that there are no innocent civilians. And then to further disprove Murray, because I'm placing intent, okay? There's more. There's a whole website of crazy things that Israeli politicians have said in regards to Gaza. Level it, damage, not accuracy. Like they're openly saying, we're not going for accuracy, we're going for damage, meaning it's indiscriminatory. We're just bombing. And then when the UN asks them, no, guys, we're telling the building before we bomb them, we have a knock on the roof, they drop a dud, and then they're going to blow up the building. So if you hear a knock on your roof, get the hell out. Yeah, but what about grandma? Too bad, man. You got like a few minutes here, and we're blowing you all up. It's insane what they do. They're bombing refugee camps, hospitals, not proving any of these places to be military means. Guys, that's a UN report. So many UN reports saying they bombed hospitals, they bombed schools. When the UN went to check, there are no military targets in there. There are no known military targets, no evidence whatsoever. We can go case by, I can bring you countless cases. I could bring you Israeli soldiers. In Israel, there's a movement called Breaking the Silence. 1,400 soldiers came out and said, look, we're committing crime after crime. I can't do it anymore. I'm breaking the silence. I'm telling everybody, they're whispering to us. They're telling us to break international law. We can kill anybody who crosses this line. They have kill boxes. They have kill zones. Anybody who walks in that zones, you kill them. That's an admission to war crime. You have to identify who that is before you kill them. You can't just kill indiscriminately. They're admitting to war crimes in one recording. And then another one's like, oh no, it's all accident. Guys, they killed a 4-year-old girl that was on the phone with the 911 call. And they're like, okay, we're going to send you an ambulance. Hind Rajab. Don't ever forget that name. This poor sweet girl is crying on the phone. She's like, save me, save me. My family's dead. Save me. I'm alone. I'm the only one alive. She picked up the phone. She was able to make a call to 911. She's 5 or 6 years old. 4 or 5 years old. They tell the Israeli government, okay, we're going to send 2 ambulances. Do we have permission? They give them permission. They drive to go find that girl. That girl's freezing right now. She's in a really cold car. The car's not on. Everything is cold. They shoot her, the ambulance, the 2 people going to rescue her. They murder them. And then Israel says, oh, we're going to investigate. Oh, we weren't in the area. And satellite footage shows they were in the area at that time when the girl was shot and killed because she was on the phone. Like case after case. I can sit here all day and give you anecdote after anecdote. I can give you the president and the prime minister saying we're going to wipe them out. I can give you 1,400 soldiers saying, look, we got orders to break international law over and over again. I can show you countless hours of footage. I could bring you the UN, people on the ground who are saying there's war crime after war crime. This is before and after October 7th. Before and after October 7th. And what else can we bring you? We can bring you the fact that Israel won't allow international news to visit the area. They bar international reporters. Why? Why do they bar international reporters? Why can't countries go and see and investigate what's going on? Why not? They wear their uniforms, they wear the press, they tell you where they are, they register with you. They're just there to pick up stories, watch what's going on, document what's going on. Why would you not want to document what's going on if you really are doing everything by the book? Because you're breaking the rules, because you're fighting dirty, because you're doing disgusting things. Now, when Hamas did what they did on October 7th, I came on this channel, I condemned it. I said that's a breach of international law. It's, if you're Muslim, it's haram. If you're secularist, it's breach of international law. We cannot accept this. I went on a rant of killing 40 babies was disgusting. I would never accept such a thing. And then it blew up in my face because there was no such thing as the 40 babies beheaded. And I had to eat my words. And a lot of people told me, how could you believe them? Well, you know, the president of the United States said it. That's when I pulled the trigger. When I saw the president of the United States say something, I was like, there's no way this guy that has the wrong intel. I had a leap of faith there. I'm like, it can't be that he would say something so factually incorrect. Turns out I was completely wrong. The White House put out a report saying he did not see 40 beheaded babies. We have no such proof. And it came out that it was a lie. Now, that's not to say there weren't atrocities. Yes, there were atrocities. And I condemn those. Okay? I condemn atrocities on either side. Anybody who breaks international law or does something haram, believe me, you're gonna hear from me. It's wrong. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to turn the blind eye to it. Okay, but what's going on right now is a genocide. And we have too many international bodies all admitting to it. And many historians, Holocaust survivors, saying the same thing. They're all saying, look, we said never again. It's happening again. We cannot allow this. It just can't be any more. There just can't be any more evidence. And Propaganda Murray, all he does is just, he knows. Propaganda Murray, in his heart of hearts, in his mind, he knows. He knows he's full of it. He knows. But he's on the payroll. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He wants just that money. And of course, he hates Muslims. You know, he hates anything to do with religion because he's a homosexual. So homosexuals are not allowed in our religion because, you know, it's haram to be homosexual. The act is haram, not the being it, but the act is haram. So for him, it's probably it's egregious to him. And you know, the Israelis have pride parades. They've put away their religion. Imagine in the Holy Land they have pride parade. The people who taught us homosexuality is haram, forbidden, now they're having a pride parade. They capitulated their religion. They capitulated. They said, look, we're not really Jews. We're Jewish by tradition. We're Jewish by name only, by label. We don't really believe in these things anymore. So if you want to be homosexual, have your pride here. Have your pride parade here. Think about it. Jerusalem is having a pride parade. You guys might not have heard this, but one fundamentalist Jewish person went in and started stabbing. He stabbed 10 people because he was against, you know, Jews are very against homosexuality. They're very against homosexuality, like extremely strict against homosexuality in their religion. So the Orthodox Jews, one of them got a knife. They didn't call it terrorism. They didn't call the T word. They didn't say the T word. Why? You know, it's touchy. But if it was an Arab, for sure it would be the T word. The T word would be everywhere. It would be all over the news. But he went and he started stabbing people. Why? He thought, hey, this is egregious. This is the Holy Land. We can't do that here. So this is his motivations. One, he's on the payroll. Two, he hates people who don't, you know, share his worldview. So obviously he hates us, you know. But facts are facts, my friends. Facts are facts. Tuxedo Mask is asking for a Muslim ban now. Well, Tuxedo Mask, a little late for that. But thanks anyway. Appreciate the sentiment. Israel is the leading cause of child mortality in 2024. That's from Tuxedo Mask. Okay, a change of pace for Tuxedo Mask. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're right. That is true. I saw a headline today. I haven't fact-checked it myself, but it doesn't surprise me in the least. And I'm telling you something. They're doing the low estimate. The UN is doing low estimate of 15,000. I don't think it's 15,000. I think we're gonna get to 100,000 because they're buried under the rubble and they can't exhume them. But we're gonna find skeletons for 100 years. We're gonna find skeletons. We're gonna find human remains. The future, they're gonna look back and say, "What were these people doing?" This is the first genocide documented in history, video documented in live, in real time. It's a live, real-time genocide happening online. It's the first of its kind. People will never forget it. Everything you wrote on the internet about it, everything you typed, people are going to go back and they're going to archive it. They're going to be like, your great-great-great-great-grandchild is going to get a job. He's going to have a business. People are like, hey, did you know his granddaddy was for the Gaza war and he was like he was a genocide apologist. People are going to do that. I'm telling you. People do that with World War II, and we don't have really strong records. And they do it. Imagine, like Walker Bush, he lent money to Hitler. People know that. You bring up the Bush family, oh yeah, they supported Hitler early on. Like, the controversy never leaves. It never leaves the name. It's going to be a stain on every human being every propagandug out there, every propagandug Murray out there, in my opinion, he's going to have his hands stained. It's funny. They have these interviews of Israeli soldiers. They're old now. They're retired. But how they massacred the Arabs in Deir Yassin. During the interviews, when they were proud of it, now they're using those interviews to show the evils of Israel. It's backfiring. It's going viral online. Everybody's looking at these interviews. These guys, these old ex-IDF guys are saying, yeah, I emptied my clip. They're like, how many did you kill? I don't know. I have like 150 bullets. I must have killed 100 people that day. Like, bragging about it, bragging about their war stories. And they're documenting. They're putting it together. They're circulating it around the world. Now everybody's like, who are these evil human beings? Who are these devils? Like, these people, the hate they're getting online. People are like, oh, this is evil. And they're like, oh, well, we've noticed anti-Semitism on the rise. Well, what do you think? You're telling people that you murder and destroy people for fun, and you kick them out, and you took everything they have. And they're literally, listen, a UN ambassador was online, and he was like, oh, they're documenting their war crimes and putting it on TikTok, these IDF soldiers. They're like, this is a treasure trove of war crimes. They're collecting it. And they're like, after there was a mass amount of deletions, but we have it all. They're saying we have it all. This is like everything they deleted. The internet is forever. They collected it already. They downloaded it. They documented it. It's there. It's gonna show up in the in the international courts. What's up, Big Faraz? How's it hanging? That's from just Doctor. Well, Doctor, it's going pretty well. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark now. We should be finishing up shortly. Faraz, you should start a podcast with Luke Thomas. That's from Old Man Dave. Old Man Dave, I barely have time for this podcast, so that's all the podcasting I pretty much can do. I get a lot of requests, so I can pop in here and there sometimes on other people's podcasts, but to do something regularly, that's going to have to wait maybe when I retire as a trainer, which I don't know if that will ever happen. I was obsessed with your UFC prime times with GSP, gymnastics, track, sparring, weightlifting, etc. Free Palestine, the records are weak. I don't know what you mean by the records are weak, but okay. That's from Al Jamani. Salam, please send the link for chin strap for sleep. I don't know. Let me try to find you. I mean, is it that hard to find the chin strap? Oh, here it is. Don't buy from Amazon. You know why? We don't do business with Amazon. Boycott those criminals. No, it's all Amazon, you see? I don't want to put it up. This one is from the CPAP store. No, Amazon. Guys, I can't put a link. You know why? Because they're all Amazon. Look up chin strap for sleep. You'll find it. But don't buy it from Amazon. I haven't bought from Amazon since 2023. I used to buy everything from Amazon. Amazon, you're dead to me. Let me just tell you. McDonald's, you're dead to me. Amazon, you're dead to me. Name me all the brands. They're dead to me. I used to drink Coke Zero. I used to drink Pepsi Zero. It was my favorite drink. I haven't drinking one since 2023, man. Since I heard that they funnel money that direction, no thanks. I'd rather drink acid. You know, you can't boycott everything, but you should boycott as much as you can. I haven't drinking a Starbucks. Man, what other company is there? Kentucky Fried Chicken. All of them, man. They're all dead to me. All of them. Dead. Speak about Syria, please. That's from Brando. Brando, I'm fortunately not very well schooled about Syria. I know they had a coup recently. They had a regime change, and from what I saw, the regime was extremely brutal. I'm really hoping the new regime is far more humane and more stable. So, unfortunately, I'm not very well schooled on Syria, and I hope to rectify that in the future. But as of now, I'm not very well schooled. Jake A, you have a way with words, but that's not what I said. You can't conflate a religion with a political movement. Okay, it's two different things. Jewish people, Muslim people, we get along. This is a political conflict. Don't let them convince you it's about religion. It has nothing to do with religion. Nothing. And just because I don't agree with Israel doesn't mean I agree with Hamas. I don't like Hamas either. I don't think they're good either. I think both governments are ultra extreme, right wing, dangerous. They both commit war crimes. They kill civilians. I don't agree with that. I think they should both go. We need a new way of thinking. We have to cut the past. We have to cut ties with the past, start anew. We need reparations. We need a right of return. Resolution 196. Look it up. UN Resolution 196. Give the Palestinians back their land or reparations. Make it right. Let's live together after. Let's make it right. And the Arabs have to accept the Jewish people there. They have to live there. Why? It's always been our custom to live together. It's always been the custom. Always. Since the time of the Prophet ﷺ, we always lived together. There was never a time where we said, oh, we're incompatible, we have to separate. And if there's truly a democracy in the Middle East, if there is truly a democracy in the Middle East, you can't do it by kicking out a particular race. That's not democracy. I don't know what you call it. That's a racist ethno-state. If it is a democracy, it has to be a democracy for all the people. The government doesn't choose its people. It's the people that chooses the government. You're doing it backwards. It's a reverse democracy. Because the Israelis, to have a democracy the way they want it, they have to expel a certain race. That means you don't believe in democracy. If you believe in democracy, you would give everybody a vote. So let's not call it democracy. All right, guys. I'm talking about peaceful resolution. I'm not talking about annihilating or killing or putting anybody away. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about peaceful resolution. Live together like we live on this side of the world. But you can't take people out of their homes. You know, that's the thing. Is propaganda. Murray cannot defend the settlers. He tries to. He says, oh, no, I don't see it that way. They have a connection to the land. Dude, those people have been living, the Palestinians have been living on the land for a minimum of 1,200 years, 1,200 years. You can't say, oh, we were there before that, or God gave it to us. That's not how international law works. It doesn't work that way. That person owns that land. His daddy owned that land. His father's father owned that land. His father's father owned that land. His father's father's father owned that land. Like, you can't just go there with a gun, stick a gun in their face, take them out of the house, and take their home. That's ridiculous. If we're going to do that, that means there is no law. We live in the law of the jungle. If you okay that, if you justify that, that means there is no law. Law doesn't exist. Law is a figment of your imagination. It's a convenient fiction we tell ourselves. But really, at the end of the day, we're going to stick a gun in each other's face. So we're no better than the lion and the zebra. You want to eat? Just kill. You want something? Kill. Pick up a gun. It's obviously not how the world works. we've come together and said, look, let's not kill each other. Let's make rules and live by those rules, and nobody's above the rules. The settler expansion is indefensible. Even Pierce Morgan won't defend the settlers. Even Pierce Morgan was like, hey, man, you know what? I can't defend the settlers. Rupert Murdoch signs his checks. He's on the payroll. And even him, he's like, settlers, I can't say they're any good. I can't say anything. It's indefensible. Even their spokesperson is like, they're sticking guns in people's faces. They're burning people's homes. They're shooting people. They're killing children on a regular basis. Like, that's the T word. Why don't you use the T word? He won't use the T word. He won't use the T word. T word is for people with a certain shade of skin. It's like the N word. The N word and the T word, it's the same thing. If you commit a crime, you're the T word. If the other guy commits a crime, he's just a criminal. All right, guys. I want to end it on a positive note, so let's start looking for that. We're at the 2-hour mark. Coach, may I ask for your insight on quotes that have been eating at me? He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of the... He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain being a man. I think you mean of the pain of being a man. So if you make yourself a beast, you get rid of the pain of being a man. Well, you could take that in different ways. You mean in beast, as a conqueror, as a champion. Well, yeah, I'll tell you something. If you're not a champion in life, if you're not a champion in certain ways, I'm not talking about UFC champion. You could be a champion in many ways. If you're not really good at something, if you don't really produce anything, the world will step on you. That's a hard truth. I hate to say it. I personally believe in producing, but not stepping on anybody. I'm a big believer in this, okay? I won't step on anybody. If I see somebody who's weak, uneducated, or clumsy, or whatever it may be, I won't step on them. I'll let them be. But I know, as a man, you got to be a beast, yeah. Because if you're not a beast, people will step on you. People will crush you. People will take what you have. Like the Palestinians are a great example. I hate to say it. Because the West can take from them, they do take from them. And guess what? Because the West can kill their children, they do kill their children. Imagine you have a beautiful home, but you can't protect it. Well, guess what? Your neighbor is going to make up a story where he thinks he owns your home and your home is deserving to him. He's going to make up a story. He's going to create a narrative. He's going to make up a story like you make up a story that you tell children. He's going to say, look how he looks at me every day. He's evil. Oh, look at my neighbor. Oh, my neighbor's such an evil guy. Look how he combs his hair. Look how he wears his clothes. He's so smug. Oh, we really got to get rid of him. He's going to turn the narrative on you that you're a bad guy because he wants what you have. Now, if you're very powerful, your neighbors are going to respect you. Think about how the Europeans came to the Native Americans. The Native Americans were not technologically advanced. They were not very powerful politically. They were not very powerful militarily. They were not very influential in many ways. They didn't have beasts of burdens. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why the natives weren't technologically advanced. Okay, they didn't have the horse. They didn't have beast of burden. I don't want to get into that topic, but they didn't have the upper hand when they met the Europeans. The Europeans annihilated them. Scholars estimate between 30 million to 80 million deaths. That's a crazy amount of dead people. It's such an absurd amount of death. But if the Europeans had come to America and met the natives, and the natives were scientifically advanced, technologically advanced, economically advanced, they would have been like, oh, we're so honored to meet you. They would have came with a much more humble approach. They wouldn't have killed no 80 million. The natives would have said, look, you guys can land here, stay within this border, this area, move no further. The Europeans would have obliged. They were like, oh, well, we can't do anything to them. These guys have bigger, better guns than we have. We got to learn from them. We got to trade with them. We got to respect them. But because they realized, hey, these guys don't even have guns. They don't even understand gunpowder. They killed 80 million. So, yes, you should be a beast. Because you will suffer a lot of pain, my friend. It's true. Now, here's the thing. If men were moral, they wouldn't do that, even though their neighbors are weaker. Personally, I would never steal I wouldn't steal 1 penny from my neighbor. Even if he was the weakest, easiest guy to steal from. I wouldn't steal 1 penny, and it's not tempting to me in the least. I never think, my neighbor's got something, I want to take it from him. My mind doesn't work this way. I was raised never to think like this. And I find it disgusting how people can think like this. It repulses me. However, I've seen that it is a way of the world. People do that. So you better be strong, my friend. If I've interpreted this quote correctly, it's a very true quote. All right, guys, no more super chats. Let's end this on a fun one. We're at 2 hours in. We hit the mark, my friends. Coach, are you available for seminars? That's from Miller Cabrera. Not right now, my friend. I appreciate the sentiment. When I travel, I'll do seminars. I'm supposed to do a seminar, hopefully, in New Jersey in May. So, but I'm not scheduling anything more than that as of now. Ray Rodriguez, 75 months member. That's a real member. Look at this, huh? An old school OG in the chat room. Hey, Coach, quick off-topic question. Prime 145 Connor versus Ilya Taporia. Who wins? I would go with Ilya. 5 rounds, Ilya Taporia. Now, look, the first 2 rounds will be really dangerous for Ilya. I think he's smart enough. I think he's intelligent enough to get out of trouble. Even maybe win the first few rounds, but we know what happens to McGregor after 2 rounds. He's not a longevity fighter, and I think Taporia will be just getting warmed up. And don't forget, not only can Taporia put him to sleep, Taporia can take him down and maul him. So he, I think, overwhelm McGregor, even if he doesn't get McGregor down early. Just the wrestling exchanges, just the back and forth, just the tying up would zap McGregor's strength. McGregor will be very, very careful to kick. If he kicks and Taporia grabs one of those kicks, it could be a mauling on the ground. Taporia is very good on the ground. He's a very good wrestler. He's a very good striker. He's too well-rounded for McGregor. McGregor would have to win in round 1, maybe round 2. Taporia would know that. Taporia's smart, guys. He would go in there. He would be subtle. He'd be jabbing. He'd be careful. He'd be moving his head. He knows that big left hand is trying to come down the middle. He would avoid it like the plague. McGregor doesn't really do damage with his right hand. His jabs are okay. His right uppercut is good, but not enough to stop Taporia. And if he makes a mistake by kicking or getting his foot caught, he's going to lose that round. He's going to get zapped, and I think Taporia puts it on him. I put Volk as the featherweight GOAT. Volk has better resume. That's from Anonkit. I would agree with you. As of now, Volk is the featherweight king. Prime Dillashaw versus Sean O'Malley. That's from Sean Doug. Look, Dillashaw was busted on PEDs, so I'm going to go with O'Malley. Okay, because for me, I eliminate him. I'm being honest with you guys. I think if you get caught for PEDs, they should strip you of every medal you ever had. Coach, did you read Ghazali in Arabic or English? That's from Tanvir. English. I don't read Arabic. I do not read Arabic. Audio is too low. You have to raise it. Is that true? Okay, I'll raise it for you. Audio is too low, Coach, so we have to raise it. And ads are pop my ears. Well, I'm sorry to do that. Buy the YouTube ad, the repellent thingamajigger. Coach, what do you think about the debate today? That's from Hosey. What debate today? I don't know. Which debate? What they did to Piggy in Lord of the Flies shocked me. That's from Old Man Dave. Well, Piggy wasn't strong enough. He wasn't smart enough. You gotta always be watching for falling rocks. Please, Coach, Ghazali book recommend for the first to get into. That's from Mika. Look up Frank Griffel's work. He wrote a book on Ghazali's philosophy. It's a great book. It's incredible. Frank Griffel. Look it up. It's an incredible book. Douglas Murray versus Dave Smith debate. That we talked about that. That wasn't today. That debate happened a few days ago. Do you use resistance band to train snap down motion? That's from Chad Steele. No, I don't do that. Like I've seen guys do it online. I like resistance bands, don't get me wrong, but I don't do snap down motion with it, like battle rope kind of style. No, I do other things. I do a lot of work with resistance band. I really like resistance bands. I think it's great, but I don't use that particular exercise. Coach, who are you voting for? No one is good for us back home, but they will make a difference for us here in Canada. That's from Sandman. I think I'm going to go and just scratch my vote. Say none of you. None of you bootlickers. That's what I'm going to write on the vote. What are the dates for May's seminar in Jersey? Where? That's from Miller. Miller, please look it up online. I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to say the wrong date, but it should be, I think, the 17th or 16th. I'm not sure. All right, guys, let's end it on something positive. Positive and light and funny. This light's too bright. Yes, we're getting dangerously close to the 200 podcast. I haven't scheduled anything with George because I'm too busy, guys. I'm just too busy. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 200. I think I might just do like a regular episode, just make it longer. I just don't have the time to schedule something like that. It's complicated. And maybe we do something. Maybe we do George for 300, and this one we do like a video chat. Because with George, I want to do it in studio, and I haven't planned that. I would want to go sit in a studio and sit down and do it properly. I don't want to do like a remote call. So I want us to be in the same room. But I'll be honest with you guys, I have not planned any such thing. So it would suck that I did it like remote call. It just wouldn't be the same. I want to be in studio, sitting side by side, talking, because we're going to go probably reminisce and talk about the fights. And so I don't want to do it on, the Zoom, I don't want to do a Zoom call. So maybe I put someone else on. Okay, what else we got here? Hey guys, nothing too deep, okay? Just let's end it on something funny. How would you speak to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson who worships the scientific method and is adamant on seeing empirical evidence of God? I think you mean empirical. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it with that one. Look, I think he's a very intelligent guy, but I would ask him one question. I would say, is science absolute? And I'm sure he would answer yes, meaning science answers everything. And then I would quickly demonstrate to him that it's not the case. And therefore, we need to know something that's beyond science. We need a science beyond science. We need a way of knowing something, an epistemology that is beyond science. And he would have no choice but to agree with me. I would give him a few examples and I'll explain to him how we cannot deny metaphysics. We are part metaphysical. Metaphysics means things that are not physical. If science only studies what's physical, and we know that there are things that are non-physical, like the mind, then we have to accept another epistemology that studies the metaphysical. Science can't tell us everything about the world. I'm going to give you guys a small example, okay? I was trying to explain this to my sons. And I told my sons, okay, look, we're sitting having burgers. We're having burgers at B12, my favorite burger place. If you're ever in Laval, check out B12. Okay, they make these incredible huge burgers, halal burgers, really good stuff. And we're eating, okay? And I was like, look, see that light is on? And they're like, yeah. I said, okay, you're in the building, right? Yeah, I'm in the building. I'm trying to explain to them Leibniz. And I'm like, look, is this building in pain? They're like, no. Is this building feeling joy? No. Is this building, I don't know, in a pleasant mood? They're like, no, there's no pleasant mood. There's a lamp that's on, there's electricity, there's workers. Because like we notice there's workers, there's food being shuffled around, there's food being prepared. There's a metabolism to the joint. The place, the building has a metabolism. There's things going on. I said, okay, let's say I was walking in your mind. I'm giving them the Leibniz example. Walking in your mind, really tiny person walking around in your mind. I would kind of like be a person in this restaurant. I would see electrodes flashing here and there. I would see the electrical system that's working inside your brain. I would see blood flow. I would see a metabolism. I would see sugars being transformed into energy for your brain. I would see brain matter. I would see blood flow. I would see microorganisms. I would see whatever I would see. I would see physical things. And then you'd ask me, hey, is this brain happy? Is this brain sad? Is this brain thinking of something? I'm like, what are you talking about? No. All I see is electrical currents, blood flow, brain matter. But me and you know that within our minds, there's a whole universe. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad. We have a mind. The brain and mind are not the same thing. The brain is all the wiring. It's the gray matter. It's the blood flow. It's the neurons. It's the veins. It's the hardware. The mind is the experiences you're having. Joy, memories, thoughts, thinking, etc. So I would point it to him. I'd say, look, there's the mind, and the mind is not known by seeing the electrical currents. So you'd have to agree with me. And then we'd probably talk about the problem of intentionality. If everything is matter, how come matter, my brain is matter, right? How come my matter of the brain is thinking about other matter? Let's say I'm thinking about my gym. I'm thinking about my gym. So my gym is matter. My brain is matter. I would ask Neil deGrasse Tyson, how can matter be thinking about matter? That's known as the problem of intentionality. Now, it's not just to give him a puzzle and he can't solve the puzzle. No, it's not about it. This problem entails that there's something beyond matter. That would be the whole point. And then we'd have to discuss what does it entail. Okay, so it's not just I'm giving him a crazy puzzle and because he can't solve it, therefore he's wrong. It's not what I'm trying to do. I would be pointing to the fact that science couldn't tell us that matter is. If all you knew was a scientific method, you would never know this. You would never know this. You would never know that matter thinks about matter. You would never know it. You would never know that minds think about things. Because when you're doing science, you're thinking, right? So philosophers invented the scientific method. So that's how I would try to remind Neil deGrasse Tyson, where do you think the scientific method came from? He's really well versed in the scientific method. I would ask him, where do you think it came from? It came from thinking. It was actually a very famous Muslim scholar who invented the modern day scientific method. The modern day, where you have a hypothesis and a test and a control. I would tell him, where do you think it came from? It came from thinking. Thinking is paramount. Thinking is fundamental. I would take him down the philosophical road. But here's the thing. Just because you're a physicist doesn't mean you're trained in science. And just because you're a philosopher doesn't mean you're trained in... Scratch that. Just because you're a physicist doesn't mean you're trained in philosophy. Just because you're a philosopher doesn't mean you're trained in physics. Okay, so we'd kind of like have to share worldviews, and we have to understand that neither one worldview is absolute. And in philosophy, we believe in everything, right? We believe in, well, not all philosophers believe the same thing, but we believe in empiricism and we believe in rationality. And some of us believe in intuition, which I think is the highest form of knowing something. So I would show him how it's impossible for him to conclude that science is absolute. And if science is not absolute, what else is there? That's where I start with him. And he would have no option but to capitulate, or he would have to deny his own mind. He would have to say, my mind doesn't exist. That was the fatal flaw of Daniel Dennett. He wrote a book called Consciousness Explained, and philosophers made fun of it till this day. Now he passed. I don't want to make fun of him. The man passed. But we nicknamed it Consciousness Explained Away. Consciousness Explained Away. To deny the metaphysics, you have to deny yourself, because you are part metaphysical. Okay, guys, I hope you had fun. I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you.